to the March 19th meeting for the Municipal Planning Commission. It is 4:59. I will call the meeting to order. You've got the agenda before you. Member Gullickson.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I'll move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. We don't need seconders. Thank you, but all those in favor? Very good. I see no one opposed. And our minutes from February 19th. Does everybody have an opportunity to review those? Member Ross?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Anybody have any concerns with those? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor? That is unanimously in favor as well. Thank you. So this evening we do have one permit application before us for a garden suite at 5648 55th Avenue. Senior Development Officer Kirk, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. All right, so the application is for a 2-bedroom, 726 square foot garden suite. A garden suite means a separate, subordinate, and self-contained dwelling unit with a cooking facility located on a residential parcel within an accessory residential building. So this includes tiny homes and cottage houses. The proposal complies with the land use bylaw. There are no variances being requested. Therefore, administration does support the application and recommends that MPC approves the development permit. So the property is zoned R1, Residential Detached District, which provides an area for residential development in the form of detached dwellings and compatible uses. And it's also located in the DARP overlay, specifically the Central Residential District, which regulates the development of major additions and new infill in a manner that is compatible with the scale and character of the existing area. So the land use bylaw requires landowners within 60 meters to be notified of a discretionary use development permit. For this application, 23 landowners were notified, 3 letters of opposition were received, which is why the application is being presented to MPC today. Neighborhood feedback. So summarized feedback, some of the concerns were related to property value. So it will decrease my property value and negatively change the look and feel of the neighborhood. Administration's response is that the proposal is a listed discretionary use in the R1 district and complies with the land use bylaw. There was noise concerns of additional residents will increase the noise levels and activities depending on the type of tenant. Administration's response is that residents are required to adhere to the City of Lacomb's Community Standards bylaw, which has regulations regarding noise. There was concerns of solid waste bins. So the applicant has a family of 7 and has filled the garbage bins on pickup days, resulting in others having to walk down the alley to use another bin. What will happen with 3 or 5 more people living on the site? Administration's response is that residents are required to adhere to the City of Lacomb's utility bylaw. Utility services advise that the alley contains 6 solid waste bins, so there's 1 per every 4 residences and 2 for the apartment building. And they have not received any complaints of overfilled bins in this alley. However, if the application is approved, they are willing to place an additional bin in the alley to alleviate these concerns. And this is just a picture of the alley. It shows the subject site and a couple of the bins close by. We had summarized feedback regarding traffic and parking concerns. So we get a lot of traffic in the alley from non-residents. My wife has been hit by a speeding car in the alley. Adding more vehicles in the alley makes little sense until non-resident traffic is under control. And they may want to put a parking pad at the rear of the lot, which would increase traffic in the area and make the alley busier. Administration's response is that residents are required to adhere to the City of Lacomb's traffic bylaw. Alleys are public property. The city cannot restrict access to non-residents. The proposal includes a 2-car parking pad at the rear of the lot. You can see in the top left corner of this aerial image. And this was included on the neighboring consultation letters that went out for information. And the city cannot restrict the landowners or tenants from accessing the lot via the public alley. And then there were comments on alternative development suggestions. So if this is approved, the neighborhood would have a revenue generating suite with a tired old house on 55th Avenue, not truly improving or regenerating the area. The piece of land would be better suited for a brand new duplex, which would refresh the area. And if this development goes ahead, we will never get a new build on 55th Ave, which would add to our part of Lacombe, but the garbage issue would need to be addressed. So administration's response is that dwellings in the DARP overlay are generally older in nature. The land use bylaw does not require that they be updated. A duplex, which is called a semi-detached dwelling in the land use bylaw, is not a listed use in the R1 district unless it existed at the date of passage of the bylaw. So a site-specific land use bylaw amendment would need to be approved by City Council prior to a development permit application being applied for. If a duplex was applied for and approved, the site would contain a total of 2 dwelling units, which is the same number of units that the applicant is proposing under this application, that being the existing house and the proposed garden suite. A duplex development would likely accommodate more tenants than the current proposal, as a duplex is considered a principal building, which can cover up to 40% of the lot, whereas a garden suite is an accessory residential building and is limited to 15% of the lot or a maximum size of 75 meters squared. The applicant is proposing a 2-bedroom, 726 square feet garden suite. And any landowner in the area can apply for a demolition and a rebuild permit if they wish to build a new house. This is just a screenshot of the R1 district from our land use bylaw, where you can see that a duplex and a semi-detached is only allowed if it's existing at the time of passage of the bylaw. All right, land use bylaw. So section 3.3 says that MPC is authorized to decide upon applications of variances greater than 15%, discretionary uses, except for those in 323 and 34, which is the development officer and city council authorizations, or any other application that the development officer refers to the commission. The proposed garden suite doesn't require any variances. It is a discretionary use to which we received opposition. So again, that's why the application is in front of you tonight. The municipal development plan review. So the city should plan for land to accommodate a total number of housing units between 7,534 to 11,573 units by 2036. So this means that the total number of units that should be planned ranges between 135 to 319 units per year. A variety of housing, both form and size, is required to ensure that the broad range of housing needs of a community can be met. In 2011, census recorded that 70% of the housing units in Lacombe were single-family dwellings. The housing needs study conducted in 2013 identified that to improve affordability and better reflect the needs of the city's demographics, a wider range of housing options is needed than what is currently available. Analysis. So the proposal complies with the land use bylaw regulations, such as parcel coverage, size, maximum density, number of suites allowed on a block, height, setbacks, parking, site development, and the regulations of the Central Residential District in the DARP overlay. Maximum parcel coverage and size. Garden suites, again, are classified as accessory residential buildings. The maximum size or parcel coverage is 15%, with a maximum size of 807.29 square feet. The applicants are proposing that the garden suite cover 7.6% of the lot and be 726 square feet in size. So number of suites allowed on a block. The R1 district allows 1 garden suite per parcel, but only if there's an existing house. They're not allowed in R1 where there's a semi-detached dwelling. So the subject block can have up to 4 suites. The applicants are proposing to construct 1 garden suite on the same lot, which contains an existing detached dwelling. And if approved, it would be the first suite on the block. So the little image to the right there shows the subject block highlighted in red. When there is an approved suite, the parcel would highlight in yellow. So you can see that so far there are none on this block. Height. So garden suite shall not be taller than 9 meters, but needs to be a minimum of 0.5 meters shorter than the house. The principal dwelling, or the house, is 4.7 meters in height, meaning the garden suite can be up to 4.2 meters. The applicants are proposing 4.2 meters. Setbacks. So again, because they're considered to be accessory residential buildings, they need to be a minimum of 0.9 meters from side and rear property boundaries. The applicants are proposing to exceed these required setbacks and construct the structure 3.96 meters from the side property and 6.70 meters from the rear property. Parking. The site requires a minimum of 4 on-site parking vehicles, so that's 2 for the house and 2 for the garden suite because it is 2 bedrooms. The site contains a front driveway and a detached garage that's accessed from the front of the lot to accommodate parking for the house. And the applicants are proposing to develop that rear parking pad for the parking for the suite, and the site exceeds the land use bylaws parking requirements. Site development. So garden suites are to be developed so that the windows and doors are oriented in a manner that maximizes privacy for the suite as well as the adjacent parcels. Windows and doors are encouraged to face mainly towards the back alley and backyard of the parcel, as opposed to neighboring parcels. So to ensure privacy is maintained, the applicants are proposing to construct the structure on the west side of the parcel with windows and doors proposed to face mainly toward the back lane and backyard, except for one window proposed on the left elevation. DARP overlay. So because garden suites are accessory residential buildings, the structure is not required to contain certain heritage architectural elements typically required of a principal building. However, if approved, the structure would need to match or complement the house in materials and color. Summary. So administration has reviewed the application, considered the requirements of the land use bylaw, visited the property, reviewed the goals of the municipal development plan, and is of the opinion that the application should be approved for the following reasons. So it complies with the land use bylaw. No variances are being requested. Therefore, it would not unduly interfere with the amenities of the neighborhood or materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels of land. And it aligns with the goals of the municipal development plan on providing a variety of housing types. The recommendation is that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the development permit for a 2-bedroom garden suite to be located at 5648 55th Ave. Thank you, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Senior Development Officer Kirk. Appreciate that. Anybody have any questions or concerns at this time? Just use your microphone, please.
I just have a quick question. What is the distance between the garage that's already there at the front and the new suite that's being built?
All right, through the chair to Member Hubert. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, okay, perfect. So the distance we actually don't require because there is no building code regulation for how close it can be located to the house. So that's not part of the application requirement.
I was just only concerned if it was for safety, if the garage was not, if it was maintained or not, if there was a fire that broke out in the garage, how would it affect the garden suite? That's what I was considering.
Okay, yeah, so that would be considered at time of the building permit process. So if the development permit's approved and we go forward with the building permit, then at that time, the building inspector would let them know if they need fire ratings or anything like that for that prevention.
Member Ross?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. Moving forward, if the owner so chooses to demolish the main residence, like I said, before, like you would do a duplex, it utilizes the property within distances and so forth. But I guess that would still play with they did a demolition and built a new residence. It's the same. The minimum distances and so forth is the same. It's kind of this. I don't know. Like I say, it's just a scenario I'm looking at.
Through the chair to Member Ross. So if the applicant did propose to demolish that detached dwelling, if they wanted to build another detached dwelling, which they would need to do in order to keep the garden suite, it would go to Lacombe City Council for a site-specific land use bylaw amendment to allow a new detached dwelling with a garden suite. Because they're only allowed if, if you wanted to do duplex. Yes. Got a little bit confused there. Then they would have to go to Lacombe City Council. But if they wanted to build another house, then that would be a permitted use permit.
Go ahead. Would it be in your opinion that this second residence, as obviously the three of us are on council, should this be reviewed? Because I think some of the specifics and the heights and is, like, for example, one other residence we had, it was basically a second full dwelling on the same lot. I just feel like the generic of a second residence is, I think, needs to be reviewed and be more specific. Is that something that should be considered going forward? Because I feel that this is kind of broad, and I know this may be getting off from this, but yeah, it's with the cost of housing and the need for more housing options. I can see this, but it just I sometimes thinks it just to be delivered to the citizens and to alleviate some of these concerns. I think we need to get more specific for some of these.
Yeah, so through the chair to member Ross, that definitely could happen. There could be a review, but that direction would need to come from City Council instead of the Municipal Planning Commission. Yeah.
Thank you. I understand that we have the proponent here with us. Sir, I would just ask you if you are aware of each of the conditions that are attached to your application. There are 1 through 8, and then some, I believe, 4 notes that are fixed as well. Are you familiar with each of those requirements?
Yeah.
Very good. Member Gullickson.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I will make the motion that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the development permit for a 2-bedroom garden suite to be located at 5648 55th Avenue, Lot 9A, Block 33, Plan 6220RS, zoned residential detached district R1 with the following 8 conditions.
Thank you. Did any member have anything further?
Could I ask a quick
Member
question?
Gullickson?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. Through to acting manager? No. Senior Development Officer Kirk. There's nothing, just that everything is fine with this. It meets all of the bylaw requirements. There's nothing that is in this proposal for any concerns, correct?
Through the chair to member Gullickson, that is correct. So they meet all land use bylaw requirements and exceed parking and setback requirements.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify that. It was in your report, but I just wanted it to be one more time to the public. Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, it is important to appreciate that and know that out of all the properties this was circulated to, there was 3 that obviously were opposed. When you go through the reasoning behind them, I think it's a difficult thing to really take those reasons to heart. I mean, there was all, well, while they may be rampant in applications and fears that people try to dwell on, I have a hard time legitimizing any of those. So for me, this is certainly needs to go through, as it's, yeah, we have no reason really to deny it, but certainly up to each individual member. Member Ross.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. So obviously, as you have more residents, more individuals, more garbage, there's a certain ratio that generally works for most areas. As we have these, is the city willing to work with these? One of the items is to increase the ratio for dumpsters, because obviously you have in a 1 more house. Is that?
I think that was answered in the report. It actually said that.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yep. No, it's no problem that Infrastructure Services was perfectly willing to add another dumpster if in fact the situation warranted it. They have not had any complaints of overuse to date, though, so it makes it difficult. But I mean, that holds true here as it does for anywhere else in the city. If there is an issue, then it will certainly be looked at and rectified.
My apologies.
No worries. Seeing no additional lights on, I will call the question. All those in favor? That is unanimously supported. Thanks, everyone. Item number 5 for the summary of discretionary use development permits issued by the development officer. Who's going to handle those? Officer Kirk, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. All right, so the first one we have is shipping containers to a maximum of 20 at 4816 45th Street. So discretionary uses can be approved by the DO if no opposition was received. None was received, so that development permit was issued. And the other one was also, so this is the adjacent property, they're both owned by the same landowner, for shipping containers to a maximum of 20 at 4810 45th Street. And again, discretionary uses can be approved by the development officer if there's no opposition. None was received, so that permit was issued. And that is it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a tentative meeting set for April 16th. Do we have any applications pending?
Not yet, but that deadline hasn't passed yet. So I'll send out an email and let you guys know if April 16th is a go or not.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. I believe that concludes our business for this evening. Thank you. All those in favor? We are adjourned.